Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. We're here doing 30 days of radical acceptance, and today is day 18 of 30. And I'm having a pretty challenging time today with judgment, and so I do what I do and I turn to the course. So in the Manual for Teachers, section 10 is, how is judgment relinquished? And I thought, yes, just the teaching that I need to read. So the thought for the day, because this teaching impacted me so much and has such truth and such wisdom in it, I decided to play around with the words. So this is, how is judgment relinquished? So our statement for today is, I relinquish all judgment in thought, word, and deed. And you'll see why as we go through this. And I basically, as I was reading it, was underlining everything. So it's a couple of pages. I'm going to read through it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it touches your heart. I may add a few comments, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Judgment, like other devices by which the world of illusions is maintained, is totally misunderstood by the world. It is actually confused with wisdom and substitutes for truth. As the world uses the term, an individual is capable of good or bad judgment, and his education aims at strengthening the former and minimizing the latter. There is, however, considerable confusion about what these categories mean. What is good judgment to one is bad judgment to another. Further, even the same person classifies the same action as showing good judgment at one time and bad judgment at another time. Nor can any consistent criteria for determining what these categories are be really taught. At any time, the student may disagree with what his would-be teacher says about them, and the teacher himself may well be inconsistent in what he believes. Good judgment in these terms does not mean anything, no more does bad. And I would say this is key in relationships. When you're in a conflict resolution moment or time period, this idea of the would-be teacher is obviously the person you're relating with, the human you're relating with. You think that you have all the facts and you know everything, and you're telling them what they're doing wrong or what they did wrong in the past, and then they have their own perception of the world, and they're telling you their perceptions right back to you. And so there's this disconnect. It is necessary for the teacher of God to realize not that he should not judge, but that he cannot. It is not part of our natural state to ever judge at all. In giving up judgment, he is merely giving up what he did not have. He gives up an illusion, or better, he has an illusion of giving up. He has actually merely become more honest. Recognizing that judgment was always impossible for him, he no longer attempts it. This is no sacrifice. On the contrary, he puts himself in a position where judgment through him, rather than by him, can occur. And this judgment is neither good nor bad. It is the only judgment there is, and it is only one. God's Son is guiltless, and sin does not exist. So that takes care of every judgment. From any angle, God's Son is guiltless and sin does not exist. So what I was thinking as I was reading this is we need to remove the word judgment from our vocabulary, because in those instances where you say that's good judgment or bad judgment, I think even the word judgment has a vibration and a frequency to it that kind of like seeps in to activate all these other lower vibrational programs that are in our indoctrinated minds. Take it out completely. Say the word discernment or choice if you're saying that's good judgment or bad judgment. But yeah, this is great. I'm going to read this like 10 more times. The aim of our curriculum, unlike the goal of the world's learning, is the recognition that judgment is, in the usual sense, is impossible. This is not an opinion, but a fact, says Jesus. In order to judge anything rightly, one would have to be fully aware of an inconceivably wide range of things, past, present, and to come. That's very key. That's very humbling to hear that. We think we're right. We think we know. We think we have evidence to prove something. I'm going to read that sentence again. In order to judge anything rightly, one would have to be fully aware of an inconceivably wide range of things, past, present, and to come. One would have to recognize in advance all the effects of his judgments on everyone and everything involved in them in any way. And one would have to be certain there is no distortion in his perception, so that his judgment would be wholly fair to everyone on whom it rests now and in the future. Freaking impossible, okay? Who is in a position to do this? Who, except in grandiose fantasies, would claim this for himself? Exactly. We need to move past our grandiose fantasies. Remember how many times you thought you knew all the facts you needed for judgment and how wrong you were? Exclamation point. Is there anyone who has not had this experience? Not in a body, Jesus. Would you know how many times you merely thought you were right without ever realizing you were wrong? Why would you choose such an arbitrary basis for decision making? Wisdom is not judgment. It is the relinquishment of judgment. Make then but one more judgment. It is this: there is someone, capital S, with you whose judgment is perfect. That is the Holy Spirit. That is Jesus. That is God. That is our guides and teachers. He does know all the facts, past, present, and to come. He does know all the effects of his judgment on everyone and everything involved in any way. And he is wholly fair to everyone, for there is no distortion in his perception. Therefore, lay judgment down, teachers of God, not with regret, but with a sigh of gratitude. Now you are free of a burden so great that you can merely stagger and fall down beneath it. And it was all illusion, nothing more. Now can the teacher of God rise up unburdened and walk lightly on. Yet it is not only this that is his benefit. His sense of care is gone, for he has none. He has given it away along with judgment. He gave himself to him whose judgment he has chosen now to trust instead of his own. Now he makes no mistakes. His guide is sure. And where he came to judge, he comes to bless. Where now he laughs, he used to come to weep. And oh, that resonates so much with me right now. Where he now laughs, he used to come to weep. It is not difficult to relinquish judgment, but it is difficult indeed to try to keep it. The teacher of God lays it down happily the instant he recognizes its cost. All of the ugliness he sees about him is its outcome. All of the ugliness he sees about him is its outcome. So what we see ugly about ourselves is the outcome, ultimately, every time we judge. All of the pain he looks upon is its result. All of the loneliness and sense of loss, of passing time and growing hopelessness, or sickening despair and fear of death, all these have come of it. And now he knows that these things need not be. No one is true. For he has given up their cause, and they, which never were but the effects of his mistaken choice, have fallen from him. Teacher of God, this step will bring you peace. Can it be difficult to want but this? So needed to hear that today. So, I relinquish judgment in thought, word, and deed. Look at yourself. Look at where you're defending, where you're standing against or preparing for the impending doom. And my recommendation after reading this passage is just stop using the word judgment, period. This whole idea of good judgment and bad judgment is just, it's just a temptation to dive deeply into these darker places that are wonderful opportunities for us to get stuck in, when really what we want to do is let the Shakti flow. We have to let go of the judgment. Lots of love to all of you. Have a great day, and I'll see you back again tomorrow.